What is up, y'all? Philly Fly Show checking in here, kicking it Right Way Production Studios, and we back for another week, baby. Now, I'm gonna come out and say this because obviously it's the truth. I mean, you don't lie about things. If you're one of those people that lie and say you pick your picks and your picks are always perfect, yeah, we're flipping right. This is the betting game. You win some, you lose some. The Philly Fly Show last week had a failure of a week for the first time in forever now. A failure to me of a week is essentially below 62%, but realistically, for any average amateur bettor like most of us are, it's 50%. If you're hitting at 50% or above 50%, you're most likely taking home some money, especially if you're doing single picks. If you're doing parlays, you're snagging some money there. But for the first time, we went under 50%. We were 6 for 14 last week. And I gotta call out some people on here. For one, Phil Rowe, your career's over with the UFC. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they're gonna cut you unless they give you one more fight and you kind of a one-off fight. But and then there's another big one. Anthony Hernandez came up short, but I don't know how we didn't see that with Sean Strickland. That he is a good brawler, and Anthony just didn't take him down in the first round and never really. I mean, he never really went for it that hard until I guess the fourth. I had to rewatch the fight, and it was just an ugly fight for Anthony, and that's what I was rooting for. So it was a little bit of hard watch for me. But I should have just known that Sean, if it turned into a brawl, Sean was gonna win. Jeff Neal got knocked out by Euros Medic. Euros Medic is back. That first fight back is just I don't even know what to say. I will say Jacoby Smith had a good fight, and then O'Day Osborne off the betting list for a long time. Yadir Devel, you're off the betting list for a bit. And then Chidi Njokwani, you're off the list. And the new guy on the list is Carlos Leal. He is the real deal, and I should have never doubted him. So that's when you call yourself out and realize that, hey, you're not always going to be right in the betting game. You're not going to be right in football. It doesn't matter what you bet on. You're not always going to pick perfectly. Things happen. We like to see the odds here, and we'll roll them as we go. Now, got a quick fight night here. I'm going to go over it really quickly. There is a fight on here. I mean, I found it, then I found a new opponent for it, and then on the odds maker, it had the other opponent on there. So I cut that fight off because I can't get real confirmation that fight's happening. So we're going to go with 12 fights on here. If that girls fight that it gets added on there gets there, and it kicks off the night, so be it. We're not betting on it, though, because we want original and real fights. So we're going to jump into it here. It is UFC Fight Night, Brandon Moreno versus Loner Kavanagh. It is a great, great, great fight night for Mexico, but it's a lot of Mexican fighters. It's a lot of lopsided odds on here for one, and for two, it was hard for me to pick some underdogs on here because most of the underdogs are so lopsided. You're gonna have to guess them and far between. Maybe pick them on a live thing. I don't know what to tell you, guys. It isn't all favorites on here, but hey, you gotta go what you gotta roll with and who you like. That's how we go. So we're gonna jump into a match number 10 here. Is a middleweight bout between Damian Penayas and Wes Schultz. Now Wes Schultz is a plus 215 underdog, and Damian Penayas is a negative 290 favorite. The odds makers have it right here. He just is more well-rounded, but there's a very little amount of research I can actually do on these two guys. I'm pretty sure they're both making UFC debuts coming from Dana White Contender Series. Wes has lost there and then won one, and the other guy won one. So they're both making their UFC debut, so we're going to see who actually has the big cojones here. And I'm going to go Damian Penayas, but I'm not super confident. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level he can get his hand raised. Now, match number 11 here is a featherweight bout between Eric Silva and Francis Marshall. Marshall's a negative 750 favorite, whereas Eric is a plus 460 underdog. Look, Eric has not had great matchups to start his career in the UFC. This could be his last fight in the UFC for now. I'm predicting it is because Francis Marshall has got too good of a skill set to not win this fight. If he loses, it'll be utter shock to me. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. Francis can get his hand raised. Now, not a lot again known about that fight, but enough known about one guy where I understand why the odds makers have it that way. Matchup number 10 here is another featherweight bout. against Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Javier Reyes. Now, Douglas is a plus 190 underdog, and he is 40 years old. The reason I'm not confident on this fight and picking Javier Reyes, even though that is my pick with the negative 250, Douglas plus 190. Javier, he's a good fighter, but he is fighting a UFC vet, and this UFC vet has got some good wins under his belt against guys that he should not have beaten. So he's got the skill set to beat people. It's just age might be up there. I'm picking Javier to win, but 1 out of 5 on the confidence level, and I've already explained why I don't like that. I don't like that fight. I wouldn't put it on a bet slip whatsoever. All right, match like number 9 is a bantamweight fight between Christian Guanitez versus Chris Mojito. Now, Chris is a plus 420 underdog, and Christian is a negative 650 favorite. Now, Chris was in this brawl in his first UFC debut, and he took it on short notice, and ever since then, I just think that fight destroyed this kid because he's never seemed like he's been the same. I think he's got one UFC win when he came back, where it was like a shocker win to me. But otherwise, he's just been getting knocked out by dudes, and Christian Guanitez is no slouch. He's got crazy good striking, and he's just gonna brawl. He's a negative 650 favorite. Chris is a plus 420 underdog. I'm going Christian Guanitez here with 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his flipping hand raised after this. That's almost my best bet fight, and the odds just are horrible. So you'd have to do something. I mean, I don't know what I'd pick because Chris is hard to knock out. Yes, for certain people, but since he's come back, he's been knocked out. So I don't know which way to go on if you want to swing the odds, but I really like Christian to win that fight no matter what. All right, bantamweight female fight. Number 7 ranked Alien Perez versus number 8th ranked Macy Chiazin. Now, Perez is a negative 188 favorite, whereas Chiazin is a plus 146 underdog. Chiazin's got some power and some great counter striking. Her gas tank just doesn't hold up over fights. Whereas Perez, she's got the gas tank, and she's more of she can knock you out, but she's more of a point fighter, if that makes any sense to certain people. I like calling her a point fighter, but she got knockout power, so it's kind of hard to say. She's just a great striker, so it's going to be good to see. Fun fight, fun action, but I'm not very confident that Perez can get the win. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level, she can get her hand raised. All right, featured prelim bout of the evening is a middleweight bout between Ryan Grunda and Jose Daniel Medina. Now, Jose is a plus 450 underdog, whereas Ryan is a negative 720 favorite. I'm going with the favorite in that negative 720, but man, guys, I'm confident in it, but something's got me scared on this whole card that somebody's going to get the bad upset here, and I'm not going to be able to call it. It's frustrating to be able to call because it's hard, especially when you got a good guy. Ryan is very good, but he's very young. I wouldn't say young. He's a very inexperienced prospect in the UFC. So I'm happy to see him, but I just want to see how this fight plays out before I get really on the hype train on that Ryan Granada pick. All right, we'll get to the main card of the evening. I swear I do that every time. Main card of the evening, bantamweight bout between Santiago Luna and Angel Pacheco. Now, Luna is a negative 620 favorite, whereas Pacheco is a plus 400 underdog. Man, you know, you kind of could go either side. The odds makers have it a little too much. I think she's more of a 3-1 dog, not a 6-1 dog, or not 6-1 favorite, Luna. But I'm picking Luna here, and I'm just 3 out of 5 on the confidence level can get their hand raised because, man, again, I'm sketched out, guys. I'm sketched the bleep out on this fight night. This one's a little tricky here. All right, matchup number 5 is a flyweight bout between Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. Now, Borjas is a plus 330 underdog, and Rodriguez is a negative 480 favorite. Look, man, to be honest with you, again, Rodriguez, I didn't know super much about. I've seen Borjas fight more than a couple times, but Rodriguez is one that just didn't click in my head, even looking up his stats and looking up some of his fights. I don't remember watching him fight, so it was hard for me to pick this one, even though I'm saying 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. I'm picking that on Rodriguez just because his skill set just looks a little bit above Borjas, but it's a flyweight bout. Anything can go. These flyweights are all game against each other, and this is a big card for the flyweights. Match number 4 is again a flyweight bout between Edgar Shair and Felipe Bunez. Now, Felipe is a plus 240 underdog, whereas Edgar is a negative 330 favorite. I almost went Felipe on this, but Felipe has lost too many fights. Edgar's lost a lot of fights too. I just think Edgar's a little bit of the better fighter, but the odds makers have this way crazy at 3-1. I'd only get him at like negative 125 or negative 150. I would not be putting this negative 330 down. Stay away from this fight. I'm picking Edgar to win, but I'm not very confident on it. 1 out of 5 on the comments level. He can get his hands raised. Lightweight bout for match number 3. It's a badass fight. Daniel Zellhuber versus King Green. King Green's a plus 350 underdog, whereas Zellhuber's a negative 520 favorite. I mean, Zellhuber's been a big favorite in almost every one of his fights. He's got the skill set to do everything that he's supposed to be able to do. It's just they keep matching him up against guys that can counterpunch, and he just slouches a little bit against counterpunchers. And if King Green can land a shot, King Green can put him out. But King Green has not been the same fighter. He has just been beat and battered against some of these elites that they're putting him up against. And again, they're putting him up against a good striker, but I don't know if Zellhuber's going to be able to put him out. I just don't know, because it might be the old King Green might get back and get a couple cracks on him. And again, like I said, Zellhuber's a little bit of his weakness has been counterpunching. So I'm going 3 out of 5 as Zellhuber wins, but King Green is always game, and it's a good fight to watch. Co-main event of the evening. I'm going a little fast here, but last week's was a little too slow, so I speeded it up here a little bit. Plus, I got some things I'm trying to work on this. I might have to start spacing it out a little more to do some of this editing that I'm trying to do into some of these videos, but we'll see if this all works out here on this video. Co-main event of the evening. Bantamweight bout between Marlon Chito Vera, number 9th ranked in the world, versus number 10th, and David Martinez, and he is a negative 330 favorite. Marlon plus 240 underdog. Dude, this was a hard one to pick, man, because Marlon has not looked like that fighter that he's been, and I feel like his time off from his last fight is going to really help him. If he comes out and it's the same guy that's been the last 3 fights, we are going to see a David Martinez just going to beat him down. But if it's a little bit like the old Chito, David's in for a hell of a fight. A hell of a fight, because I have a feeling Marlon's going to be back in there. I have this feeling. I just know Marlon's going to be back in there. That's my guy. Yes, I'm rolling with my guy a little bit, which has not been so good for me as of late. But David Martinez, I mean, he's come on the scene very good. He's got the skill set, but does he have the experience to actually take out a guy like Chito Vera? Is it the old Chito or the new Chito? We'll see. Taking Chito, though, 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that he can get his hand raised. And then we get to the main event of the evening, boys and girls. Brandon Moreno, number 6 ranked in the world, taking on Loner Kavanagh. Now, it was supposed to be someone else, and I cannot figure out who that was. It's blown my mind that I know this fight fell through a couple weeks ago. It was supposed to be a good fight, but Loner Kavanagh stepping in is great, but Brandon is a badass boxer, and you're not going to be able to beat him, Loner. I just don't see your striking up on his level. Your grappling might be above him, but your striking definitely ain't going to be above him. So, Brandon Moreno with that negative 225 versus Loner Kavanagh on the plus 172. I'm picking Brandon Moreno. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level, and I think Brandon's going to make a show for himself to get back in those talks of getting into the to the flyweight contention to get to that title. Because with Joshua Van there, if Joshua Van can take out Terasudo and somehow Brandon Moreno can get in there and get a fight against that'd be another badass boxing fight that the UFC needs to see. All right, shout out, y'all, to the Right Way Production Studios for always making this happen. But also, if you're not checking out Zuffa Boxing has been fire. Do not miss it. If you haven't been checking out some of these boxing fights, I'm getting interested in it. I'm not that big of a boxing fan. So, shout out to, again, all you that listen. And we'll see y'all next week for a good pay-per-view in Las Vegas, baby. Peace!